What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we're opening an Austin Powers trading card game. Yeah, apparently a few years ago, the lovely folks over at Decipher decided to make an Austin Powers collectible card game based on the second movie. Now, there are a few moderately risque terms in the video, but no. It's there's no warnings on the box. It's got a few slang terms in, but nothing more than that. Now, it was made by Decipher, the same dudes who did make these Lord of the Rings decks we opened the other day, and you'll notice that size-wise they are exactly the same. So I hear you ask, Wassy, how come you got two Lord of the Rings and one Austin Powers? Well, Lord of the Rings are a deck in and of themselves, whereas Austin Powers is actually a two-player game. Now, inside you get two complete 30-card decks, one good and one evil. Oh, cool. So, let's have a gander, shall we? Now, as we saw with the other Decipher games, it's fairly bare bones, if I'm honest with you. You get yourself the 60 cards as mentioned, and you get yourself a lovely little book. And the book is a nice little learn to play guide. Now, appreciate the attention to detail here. It's got kind of colourful titles like you would expect from an Austin Powers game, and it really does give you quite a thorough run through all of the rules, all of the symbols on the cards, etc. Shows you roughly how the game is going to look when it's all up and rolling. It's very, very cool. And it's just got everything you need. Lots of rules, mind you. Then a bit there about making, building your own decks from scratch. And some collector's information giving you the card list. Now, my understanding is that this was not an exceptionally long-lived game. They did sell booster packs, as you can see, but it was kind of, I believe it was a one expansion thing. I mean, the fact that Austin Powers, of all things, got a trading card game alone should be kind of an interesting little historical tidbit. But, yeah. So, now what we see, we have like a full-on good and evil deck. I assume they're, split up? Ah, yes, they are. Right, okay. So, how do you tell the good and evil decks apart? Very simply, they literally have different card backs. So, the good decks will have Austin Powers on the back, and the bad decks will have Dr. Evil on the back. So that's kind of cool. Literally different card backs. So, shall we say they're not encouraging you to mix the decks together? And no, it's not a game I'm a particular expert in, shall we say. But what we've got here is basically a game, I mean, it's got lots of little nods to the movie, Throw Me a Frickin' Bone, vibes, mojo. I mean, the counters we've got here are things like groovy and creepy, and it's very cool. Now, in terms of the artwork, I can't imagine some people being slightly less than impressed. They are literally just using screen grabs from the movie. The artwork here is literally just screen caps of the movie, and then they've put the borders over the top of it. I can understand why some people might be less than impressed by that, if I'm honest with you. But that's the way it is. We saw this with the Lord of the Rings game we looked at a week or so ago. Oh, we got Johnson. The cards, what I will say is these cards are kind of old, and they are not straight anymore. Which for non-holo cards, I don't know, maybe I'd expect a little bit better. I would expect holo cards to warp over time, but non-holo, I just generally wouldn't, if I'm honest with you. So, yeah. One thing I do like, they've got cards like Human Shield, which lets you choose one of two effects. I like that purely from a deck building kind of playing standpoint. It increases decision making. And when I'm playing a card game, I want decisions. What keeps me engaged in card games is the minute-to-minute decision making. So, yeah. So, what do we have here? No, we've seen that one already. We've seen that one already. Man, they like these frickin' bone cards. Another copy of the fighter pilot there. pile of liquid hot magma. So there are quite a few repeating cards here. There's a lot of repeating cards, in fact. Oh, now that's kind of a trading card game sin right there. 5 copies of the same card in a 30-card deck. Now, usually, and you'll see from my other openings of older card games, generally speaking, I end up kind of running out of room. Here we got plenty of room to spare. We have 13 unique cards in this 30-card deck. I'll be honest with you, that's a little bit lower than I'd like. I do really, really appreciate the fact that they've got all of these, I appreciate the attention to detail in terms of the movie is what I'm trying to say. I appreciate the fact that it's clearly been made by someone who understands the movies. It's clearly been, it's clearly been made by people who love the movies, and there's little kind of nods to the movies here and there. I am slightly disappointed by the fact that it's just movie artwork, though, I'll be honest with you. Hey-ho. So, that is our good deck. We should probably have a little bit of a look at our evil deck. Oh, I should say we've actually got Austin Powers there. He's very much our kind of hero of the deck. So you only get 1 copy of Austin Powers as opposed to the multiple copies we get about lots of others. I don't know. There is something about getting a 30-card deck and getting that few unique cards that, I don't know, gives me a slight pause for thought. So moving over into the evil deck then, obviously we got ourselves a copy of Dr. Evil. He's got 2 creepy as opposed to Austin Powers 2 groovy. And then I'm expecting we're going to see what we saw from the other deck. We're going to see a bunch of repeating cards. Again, what we're really talking about here is just artwork from the movie, literally cut directly from the movie here. And yeah, there we go. Lost my train of thought then. Right, now I'm already doing a very bad job of sorting these out, making them nice. And yeah, so we'll see here, we've got lots of repeating cards already. I don't know whether they're just really trying to make you buy the booster pack to complete the set or what. But I am slightly, let's say slightly concerned. It just, I don't know. There's something about getting the same, especially when you're trying out a new game. I want lots of different cards. Now, there is an argument that, well, repeated cards make the deck work. Maybe it's just because I've got literally this starter set from, this old game and I want to see more cards. There's something about it which makes me slightly uneasy. The fact that you're getting so many, the fact, there's 5 copies of the same card in here. 13 unique cards, and maybe that makes the game flow better, but I don't know. Something about it's a little bit... Oh my goodness, there's 11? 11? Are you kidding me? There's 5 copies of that card, 5 copies of that card, 5 copies of... So half the deck is these 3 cards. Come on, I cannot be the only one that thinks that's, kind of... I'm not loving it, if I'm honest with you. And then the fact that the artwork is literally just repurposed from the movie. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I usually get really excited about these openings. And what's really funny, my 2-year-old daughter, she loves running into my studio. And this box has been over on a box over there for a while now. And my daughter's been kind of running and excitedly grabbing it and running off with it like a little bit of a game. And I was really excited to open this and start digging into it. And I'll be honest with you, right? The more I look into it, the more I'm just like, I don't know, maybe it will play better. But the fact that there's so few unique cards, compared to what we saw in the Lord of the Rings decks, and the fact that, you're getting 5 copies of some particular cards, and the fact that it is literally just reused movie artwork. But again, I could lobby the same thing at the Lord of the Rings game. That is just reused movie artwork. And I do like the fact that they've got all the little nods to Austin Powers throughout. I do enjoy that very much indeed. But I don't know, there's something about this that just feels a little bit... I mean, maybe it's not a coincidence that the Lord of the Rings card game went for a few years and the Austin Powers card game didn't. Then again, Lord of the Rings is way more popular than Austin Powers. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just showing you the starter deck and you can make up your own mind. But I would like you to make up your own mind, and I would like you to tell me what mind made up thing. I don't know. Tell me what you think about this in the comment section. Get nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, where we talk all kinds of old card games. Sounds like fun. Oh, and do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus pods, all kinds of fun stuff. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wassy Plays.